And welcome back to another episode of Military Mindfulness Moments. I'm Major Weller, and we are discussing cognitive distortions and how they affect you. Now, if you remember from our first video, we covered the first 6 of the 12, and those are overgeneralizing, blaming and denying, shoulds, all or nothing, negativity biased, and catastrophizing. In this episode, we're going to talk about the final 6 common cognitive distortions and how they interfere with your life. So without further ado, let's begin. So the first cognitive distortion we're looking at today is labeling, or should be better named mislabeling. Mislabeling is the experience of categorizing everyone or everything based on one or two specific experiences. More often than not, these labels are not rational, they're unhealthy, and they are too simplistic to describe the whole person or experience. A common error is when something doesn't go our way. Instead of saying, "Oh, I made a mistake," or "I shouldn't have done that," we tend to label ourselves as a loser or a failure, or categorize the whole thing in one epic label. This is what Brené Brown calls the root of all shame. The next cognitive distortion we will look at today is magical thinking. Magical thinking is the idea that laws of the universe, physics, economics, nutrition and fitness, etc., they don't apply to us. Magical thinking is described as the belief that thoughts and reality are connected just because the thought is there. Magical thinking appears when there's a high degree of chance, accident, hope, fear, or danger. For example, people play the lottery, despite having a better chance of being hit by lightning twice in one day than actually winning the lottery. How many lottery players have you heard say, "Oh, I just had to project my positivity to the universe, and I knew I was going to win"? Well, they may say that, but how many thousands, if not millions of people had those same magical thoughts and didn't win the lottery? The next cognitive distortion we're looking at is personalization, or over-personalizing things. Over-personalization is a twist where a person believes that everything everyone else does around them is in direct correlation or directly caused by their personal reaction to them. They end up taking everything personally rather than seeing that others have their own individual free will and free thought, or their own history of baggage, and they tend to believe that everything is about them. We often see over-personalization in small children. They blame themselves if their parents get divorced because the kids are too young to understand that this was about the parents, not about the kids. This type of thinking can be very problematic if it continues on into adulthood. The next cognitive distortion is mind reading. Mind reading is believing you know what other people are thinking and is sometimes negative about you. For all of you mind readers out there, I'm sending you a joke through telekinesis. I hope you got it. Just kidding. Mind reading is often a projection of our own insecurities onto the person we are interacting with. We think we know what they're thinking, and so therefore we respond to what we think they are thinking. Again, typically we think they think something negative about us. The next cognitive distortion we're looking at is the fallacy of fairness. The fallacy of fairness refers to a strong belief and expectation that life and relationships should be governed by some kind of rules, principles, and standards. Emphasis on the word should, again, another cognitive distortion. If life or relationships do not go according to these rules and standards, we tend to become bitter and resentful. People who go through life judging it whether or not it's fair or not will often be disappointed and angry and end up with a negative or toxic attitude. Our last cognitive distortion we are looking at today is emotional reasoning. Emotional reasoning is the process that takes place when individuals believe that what they are feeling is true, regardless of any of the evidence or the lack of evidence that might be there. For example, if we feel stupid or dumb, then therefore we must be dumb. We assume that our negative emotions reflect the way things truly are. Okay, so in conclusion, these were the final 6 of the 12 cognitive distortions that we discussed. This was the second part of the video. So again, we recovered labeling, magical thinking, over-personalizing, mind reading, the fallacy of fairness, and finally emotional reasoning. Take a moment to examine your life, your thought processes, and see if you ever engage in any of these. Chances are you will identify with several of these, which is common because all of us do these from time to time. That just is part of the human process. We all do them. We all engage in them. What helps is when we learn how to identify them and challenge them appropriately. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.